Hello to all, and thank you for checking out my first ever podcast. Today, I'm going to be talking about 3 of the 6 categories to choose from my teacher Mrs. All's Reading Pursuit project, which for those who don't know is a project that was created to inspire and motivate kids to read outside the classroom by teaching them how to dive deeper into different books with different genres. The first category that I'll be talking about is the New Literature Project. For this project, we were given a variety of books to choose from. However, if we wanted to, we could do something else. I chose The Hunger Games, as it was already on the provided list, and I was already familiar with the series. We were asked to read the book and then complete a character autopsy. A character autopsy is where you describe and pick details from your character or your character's life to provide insight on their strengths, minds, emotions, and overall composition. I enjoyed this project because it truly let me get to know my character's story and develop a greater appreciation for the tiny details authors like to give. The second category I chose to do was the Classic Literature Project. The books for this project were as hinted, classic like The Great Gatsby and To Kill a Mockingbird, which I'm sure we've all heard of. However, I decided to do my project on Animal Farm, where animals manage to create their own society yet still have drama with politics. I don't know about you, but that definitely rings a bell for me. One thing in specific that I was able to learn was how classical authors still manage to hit on topics that matter many years later. For example, Animal Farm, like I said, managed to create their own society and have drama with politics. And the main point that I gathered from this suggests that there might always be 2 sides in governments, but each side has to be willing to give a little and not fight in order to actually function. The assignment for this project was to create a 500 to 1,000 word essay on how today's generation can still learn and relate to the classics. It seemed a little bit difficult at first, but once you got into it, 500 words wasn't that hard. Overall, it's a pretty good project, and I feel as though I did a pretty good job on it. My third and favorite choice of all 3 projects so far was the Poetry Project. Like the other 2, we were given a list of books, and I chose Meemaw by Emma McBride. It's a really good book, and I'm going to go ahead and recommend that to you since I loved it so much, and I'm sure you will too. The way that my book conveyed characters and emotions was, well, poetic. It was a free verse style book, which really allowed me to dig deep into what the author was saying, and allowed me to focus on the book without having to worry about big paragraphs and long sentences that I might not completely read over. For this assignment, we had to complete a poetry tic-tac-toe, which is a 3x3 grid with topics that you have to write poetry about. The reason why it has tic-tac-toe in the name is because you had to choose 3 across, 3 down, or 3 diagonally that were in a row in order to write about those topics. I wrote about growing up, something in nature, animals, seasons, weather, etc., or change in choices. I really enjoyed this part of the project because I feel like it let me connect with my emotional side, as well as let me look through life from a different lens and perspective. We also had to write a short 12-word summary of the book, and we had to do an image summary where we either conveyed the characters or a setting in the book. Overall, I feel like this project did exactly what it was supposed to, as I found myself reading books outside of school, even when it wasn't one of the ones required for the project. As your host, I'd like to say thank you for listening in, and I hope you have a great day. See you next time. From your host, Austin Brummage.